I'm currently Vice President of Communication for Domino's Pizza, the world's largest pizza delivery company. We've got 10,000 stores in 75 countries around the world. My job with my team is to handle all internal communications, many of our websites, all of our public relations, our community relations, crisis management, event management, and charitable giving. So it's a very diverse, very well-rounded job. And most of what I learned, I got right from different classes and experiences that I got here at Eastern. There were two things that brought me to Eastern. One was location. I grew up around here, and so I had more exposure to Eastern than any of the other state universities. Second, I really liked the vibe here. This was a university, even when I was here, that really was about not just academics, but there was a vibe of a work ethic here, that we weren't just producing smart people, we were producing smart people who could make a difference in the workforce. And as a student, you know, one of the things you look for is not only the college experience, but can you get a job at the end of the line? And that's really what I found here. Yes, I joined the Echo my sophomore year as a feature writer. Actually, my first job was writing record reviews. That became boring pretty quickly. Got into news and got a chance to meet and cover the Board of Regents and the administration, and that was really a great opportunity for me. I became editor-in-chief and it served for 2 years, and what that did for me was it reinforced the work ethic. We were constantly on deadline, and it allowed us to interact with professionals. And what we tried to do is look at ourselves as professionals in the world of journalism who also happen to be students, rather than as students who were pretending to be journalists. And that change in perspective, I think, made all of the difference, because while we were here, the Echo was named one of the 10 best college newspapers in the country, and I'm pretty proud of that to this day. I had a chance to be on the side of the interviewer, right? When I was with the Echo, my job was to interview executives and administrators and athletes and politicians, and I got a sense of really what drove me was the truth. And my job as an interviewer, I was able to try to extract the truth, or what people were presenting as the truth. And as I evolved into my professional career, I started as an internal journalist with the company and then took over PR. And having been on the journalist side, I was able to know how to talk to reporters and journalists when they were asking me questions, you know, because I understood the deadline pressures that they had. I understood that they were often facing evasive people. I understood that I knew more about the issue than they did, or it was at least my responsibility to know more about the issue than they did. So I think it helped me, because when I needed to, I could tell them that I was also a journalist, or I started as a journalist, and that made a big difference. And over the years, the bridge between journalism and public relations really formed a credibility that was the foundation for an entire career. I was involved in a couple of ways. I was part of a team that came in of professionals and the faculty here. We had people from agencies and from nonprofits and from corporations, really looking at the entire spectrum of the curriculum. And while much of it was foundationally very good, the world had really changed a lot in the last 5 years and even 3 years. And what we wanted was to create the opportunity for new classes that addressed crisis communication as a discipline. Social media is certainly an ever-evolving institution, and a company's reputation can be made or broken virtually instantly online, depending on what the issue is, what medium is being used, and how a company responds. Individual reputations are being created or destroyed on the internet. That's an important thing for students to get an understanding of. Event management is another one of those things that you don't really think about. When you think about PR, you often think of writing or speaking, but there's so much more that goes into it. So the team that we put together really took a hard look at not only what the university was offering, but what employers were looking for. And then we worked backward and tried to fill the gaps. And the second thing that I was able to participate in was the hiring of a new faculty person to come in who had the skill set in things like social media. And together with Lolita, Gina Luttrell is able to build this foundation. And I'm really excited about the fact that this curriculum, it was years in the making, but I'm really excited that it's about to take off. A few of the courses that I'm really happy about. One is the fundamentals of social media, because as you all know, reputations can be made or broken on the internet in an instant. So getting a foundation of what social media is and how companies use it or get abused by it is very important. I know that some of my colleagues are very excited that there's a course called The Agency, because agency life is unlike any kind of experience that you have in a corporate world. Many employees of an agency are responsible for multiple clients who often have needs at the same time. They overlap. They also have to respond to the need to have billable hours, and you often have to be more than one place at once. And getting an understanding of how an agency works is very important. Ultimately, what we want to do with the new curriculum is create a group of students that are sought after, that are employable from day one. And we want them to excel so much in those first few years that employers can't help but come back to Eastern for more. That was our vision when we tackled this project with the new curriculum, was to create an endless cycle of employers who want students, so students who want Eastern, Eastern who gets more students. It's a win for everybody if this all works. Some advice I would give to students coming in, the first would be do it. Jump in and jump in head first, because there's a lot to get out of this. And you don't want to get into any program and just do it on the periphery. You immerse yourself in this. Pay attention to the importance of writing, not just writing for Twitter or speaking in letters. Speaking and writing in real words is going to put you far and above your peers, especially when it comes to competing in the workplace. Public relations in many respects is about image, it's about reputation. And one of the things that you want to be mindful of is your own reputation and your own image. So if there are goofy photos out there of you on Facebook, now is probably a good time to remove them and to think about what image you want to present, not only to your friends, but really to future employers. And because we do look at people's profiles when they apply for jobs. And you can get a sense of a person's character by their Facebook page. Their political rants, their escapades, what what a great time they had at this pool party. Those are all things that I understand that balance of this is my page and it's my freedom of expression. Good for you. But if I can see it, I'm going to make a judgment call. I'm going to make a judgment about you. And if you're really thinking about getting into the reputation management business, your reputation is the first one to think about. One of the unique things about this new curriculum and the fact that we not only had a board of professionals to help build it, but there is an advisory board to the program that is filled with professionals, people who own their own agencies, people who work in agencies, people who work in corporate environments and nonprofit environments. The program has access to these people and more. We often come in and speak in classrooms, or we participate in the student development conferences. So there's a lot of access to individual professionals. We've hosted PRSSA meetings at our facility, and we've given people a walk through how we do PR on a global basis at Domino's. And one of the things we also provide is internships. Over the last 10 years, I've probably had 12 to 15 students spend a semester with me doing real PR work. They have written press releases and pitched real media. They have written communication on behalf of the CEO. They've gotten involved in event planning. They've shadowed us during crisis situations. It is a full-blown, very realistic look at PR in the corporate world, and I know that that also exists in agencies and nonprofits. So when I say that you need to immerse yourself, that means getting involved in the PRSSA chapter and looking at internships and really looking at it like I did at the Echo, looking at yourself as a professional PR person who happens to be a student, rather than as a student studying PR. That perspective, and PR is a lot about perspective, changing that perspective just a little bit can influence how you tackle this degree from beginning to end.